Hello tubers. What we've got here is the rear drum brakes on a 2003 Tundra, 120 some thousand miles, limited slip rear end, the off-road package. I don't know if that makes any difference, but I gotta do the brakes, man. They're real thin here. They're just, they're worn. Now, I've never done drum brakes before, but I've got the book. You know me, I'm following the book instructions, and so what I've already done is I've put the truck up on jack stands, and I've popped off the actual drums. Now, if you don't know how to do this, or got some idea of what the major things are, don't try this repair. And I'm pretty much ready to tackle the brakes following the step-by-step instructions. I got new pads in the truck. I didn't buy any grease or anything, but we'll just see how that goes. Now, the other thing, though, is if you've been following my videos, you know that I whacked a major pothole and through the front end of the alignment, but there's still some kind of friggin' bearing noise, and I believe it's coming from this side over here. So, if it's possible, I'm thinking of disconnecting the back side of the cable stuff and actually pulling this whole cylinder out. But I think I'm just going to do a brake job to start and then try it and decide whether it's quiet or this, that. And see, on this side, pad's real thin right here. We're talking like getting close to a 16th. Up here, it's pretty fine, pretty thick. But I guess that's how they all wear, a little different. But 120,000 on the original pads. Okay, I gotta tell you, this spring is on so tight because of this. What I think I'm going to do is open the inspection hole like they show in the book if your shoes are binding, and see if I can't move the adjusting wheel and take the tension off this. Then I should be able to open the spring up. Okay, here's step one. What you want to do first is on the back side of this little wheel, there's a plug. You take that out, and then you stick one screwdriver in like this, and there's a little lever behind the star wheel, and you lift up on that lever, and you just leave this sticking out the back of the adjusting hole. Then with this other screwdriver, you just keep forcing this little star wheel down. That screws this little piston in right here, and now you got enough slack that when you grab the wire, you can take this step number one according to the book. This spring comes free. To remove the hold down spring on the rear shoe. Rear shoe, hold down spring. Spring came right out. I used one of these spring puller tools. You're just going to push it on, twist and turn. The big end goes over the little thing. And you can see the spot, so it's just a 90-degree turn or whatever it is. Wow, the camera and everything just got all covered in dust. Because what happened was, the next step is you take off that little spring, this adjuster spring that was right in here, and the whole side basically falls off, and the bottom. And everything's just kind of hanging here, but that whole side just came right free. Now, I still need to take, and it just fell off, this lever, and I've got to drive that pin out and put a new one in, put it back in on the other one, so that I can use this brake lever. And now I have to take apart this side. And basically, I'm just going to follow the instructions, but I don't think there's too much else holding it on. In fact, the only thing holding it on is that spring clip pin. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, Yeah, remove the other shoe right here, F. So that gets the other shoe off. Just pop this off and this other side will come down. Then there's a bit of disassembling. I'll give you the hot skinny as I get to it. And there's this parking brake thing too. All right, you've got to love these replacement brake shoes. They're whatever Advanced Auto gave me, they're Wagner's. Okay, now they've already put the little pin in so I don't have to drive the old one out and pop a new one in. Plus, they've given me the little pin over here, already positioned, and I gotta tell you, they're right-left matching sets. So I'm golden. I'm just gonna swap this piece onto here, and this little piece over to here, and then I should be able to just clip everything back on and around and adjust it up and have it working. That's friggin' amazing that it was just that simple. It took less than a minute or two to drive off this little clip, and then I drove it off the old one and then just dropped a new piece on, slipped the clip on, and squeezed it closed with my pliers. Very simple. Over here the pin was already there, so this just sits in place. Oh, I forgot. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to hang the shoe on this side, connect the brake thing, and get that side tightened up. Okay, here's the trick with this. Get everything lined up, including the shoe in the right position. Then hold your finger on the back side to keep the copper in place and just push like hell, compress a lot. Then the pin will come through, you can twist. It seems I wasn't quite ready to put this shoe on. You've got to put on this little wing piece and put the spring on to hold it in place. Plus you've got to get your adjusters slipped up in here so that when you button everything up with this final spring, it's all there. Then it's just a matter of adjusting. Hey, you ain't gonna believe this, but it's done. It only took a couple hours of me fooling around with one side, and I'll do the other side faster. But pads are changed, all reassembled. Putting these things in was the hard stuff. Those little springs, you gotta really push. Everything else pretty went together, self-explanatory. Now supposedly I've still got to adjust these to the disc, or to the drum I mean, and that's doing it through this little inspection hole in the back, which is the last piece I have in the parts box. But looks pretty good. Hopefully it'll work. Okay, here's the way I've adjusted the brakes. I've been putting on the drum all the way down and then turning it until, if it feels like it runs smooth, I take the cap off, I adjust this little nut to spread the pads, put the drum back on, turn it. I'm now feeling friction when I turn this bad boy. So now I'm going to back it off, I don't know, a couple turns. And I'm going to call that adjusted. Well, tubers, the job is all done. Now, what you didn't see, or probably didn't see, is I reassembled this side first that holds the emergency brake, because that was the last pad to come off. Then just clipped it all around. It was simple, as you saw me take it apart. Only thing I got to tell you is, there's a little adjuster right in here, this little star wheel. I don't know. Yeah, you can see it right here. Okay, this expands or contracts these two pads, allowing them to get tighter or looser. Now what I've done is I made it real small and pushed the pads together as much as possible. Okay, now what that does for you, once you've done that, is you take your drum, and I've sanded the inside. I didn't even bother to go get it resurfaced because it was just close enough. And you've got to keep putting it on and off, and you want to turn the wheel, and you'll feel it turn. And you want to do this till the pads just start rubbing, and then back off the adjustment. And to make it bigger, you only need one screwdriver and it just clicks its way up. But to make it smaller, 2 screwdrivers, One has to slide all the way in, hold the lever up on the back, and the other one pushes down on this to contract it. But I've already done the adjusting because I wanted to wrap this up. All I got left now is to put on the tires and take it for a test drive. I've checked the function of the emergency brake and everything. It seems like it's all working. So like I said, all I got to do left is slap the tires back on and make it happen. Hey, I hope you found this helpful. And guys, if women don't find you handsome, they should at least find you handy. Okay, tubers, last little update. I went for the test drive, the brakes worked, except the emergency brake wasn't holding on a hill. So what I've done is I took off the wheel, blocked it up, took off the wheels again, and I've tightened this little adjuster, spread it so much to the point where this drum just barely fits on. And I gotta kind of wiggle it, and it's rubbing when it goes on. It's a real tight fit. That's the adjustment for me. I just tried the emergency brake. It works. Everything's hitting nice and tight and high. I'm sure it'll hold now. So, like I said, test run went fine. Brakes worked, except the emergency brake bottomed out and wasn't really grabbing. I didn't have enough tension. And so I've adjusted it in here to get that tension. Hope this was helpful. Oh, one more thing. Please subscribe. Send me any comments if you want. If I can be of help, I'll try to answer you. I don't get that many, so it's no big deal.